The 9,670th meeting of the Security Council is called to order. The provisional agenda for this meeting is the situation in the Middle East. The agenda is adopted. The Security Council will now begin its consideration of item 2 of the agenda. Members of the Council have before them document S/2024/497, the text of a draft resolution submitted by the Russian Federation and the United States of America. I also wish to draw the attention of Council members to document S/2024/433, the report of the Secretary General on the United Nations Disengagement Observer Force. The Council is ready to proceed to the vote on the draft resolution before it. I shall put the draft resolution to the vote now. Will those in favor of the draft resolution contained in document S/2024/497 please raise their hand. The result of the voting is as follows. The draft resolution received 15 votes in favor. The draft resolution has been adopted unanimously as Resolution 2737. There are no more names inscribed on the list of speakers. The meeting is adjourned. So DIC case EOB after the vote?
If it's not unanimous. The 9,671st meeting of the Security Council is called to order. The provisional agenda for this meeting is the situation concerning the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The agenda is adopted. The Security Council will now begin its consideration of item 2 of the agenda. Members of the Council have before them document S/2024/501, the text of a draft resolution submitted by France. The Council is ready to proceed to the vote on the draft resolution before it.
39. I now give the floor to those members of the Council who wish to make statements after the vote. I give the floor to the representative of the United States.
President, I am pleased to deliver this statement on behalf of the United States and Japan. In January, this Council adopted Resolution 2722, which underscored the importance of the exercise of navigational rights and freedoms of vessels of all states in the Red Sea, and unequivocally demanded the Houthis immediately cease their attacks on merchant and commercial vessels. The Houthis have not heeded this resolution, and in recent weeks have launched additional complex attacks against vessels in the Red Sea, Gulf of Aden, and surrounding waterways. These attacks threaten international peace and security with negative implications for global commerce and flows of humanitarian assistance. In addition to extending the requirement for reporting by the Secretary General under Resolution 2722, today's resolution reaffirms our condemnation of Houthi actions and reiterates the Council's demand that the Houthis cease these unacceptable and increasingly sophisticated attacks. Extending this reporting will help ensure that the Security Council has accurate and timely information to inform its deliberations over how to best address Houthi actions going forward. The resolution also reaffirms the importance of all member states adhering to the arms embargo under Resolution 2216, including to deprive the Houthis of the weapons they need to carry out these attacks. And it calls on the Houthis to release the crew of the Galaxy Leader, who continue to be held against their will. Colleagues, attacks on any vessels in the Red Sea, regardless of origin or ownership, are entirely unacceptable. Arguing otherwise risks legitimizing clear violations of international law. We must continue to uphold the free flow of commerce in one of the world's most critical waterways in accordance with international law. That was the charge before us when we adopted Resolution 2722 in January, and the resolution before us today will help to reinforce those efforts. The threat to navigational rights and freedoms in the Red Sea is a global challenge and necessitates a global response. With this resolution, the Council will once again send a clear message to the Houthis: cease these attacks immediately. Thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the representative of the United States for their statement. I now give the floor to the representative of the United Kingdom.
Thank you, President. We thank the US and Japan for tabling this resolution. This resolution will ensure that this Council continues to receive regular reporting on the Houthi threats to shipping. The United Kingdom condemns in the strongest terms the illegal and unjustified attacks on maritime shipping in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden by the Houthis. As a Council, through our adoption of this resolution, we have reiterated unequivocally that we condemn the Houthi attacks. These dangerous and reckless acts must end. The UK is committed to ensuring freedom of navigation and trade in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. I thank you, President.
Thank the representative of the United Kingdom for their statement. I now give the floor to the representative of China.
President, the Chinese delegation abstained in the preceding voting on the draft resolution. I'd like to explain China's voting position. First, the Red Sea is an important transport corridor of goods and energy products. Since the end of last year, the Houthis have repeatedly attacked commercial ships in the Red Sea and nearby waters, disrupting the normal order of international trade and negatively affecting the regional stability. China has on multiple occasions called on the Houthis to respect the right of commercial vessels of all countries to navigate in the Red Sea under international law, heed the call of the international community, and to comply with the requirements of the Council resolutions by ceasing the attacks on civilian vessels and ensuring the safety of the Red Sea shipping lanes. Second, In January this year, when Council adopted Resolution 2722, China abstained in the voting. Our main concern was that the resolution's ambiguity on some key elements could have negative consequences and lead to further escalation of regional tensions. We observe that after the adoption of Resolution 2722, certain countries have taken military actions against Yemen, which has not only resulted in infrastructure damage and civilian casualties, but also heightened the security risks in the Red Sea waters. This resolution is a technical extension of Resolution 2722, considering the continuity of China's position and the developmental situation since the adoption of 2722, we had to abstain in the voting once again. We call on all parties concerned to strictly abide by the UN Charter and avoid misinterpretation and misuse of international law and Council resolutions or creating new tensions in the Red Sea waters. Third, the current tensions in the Red Sea is one of the spillover manifestations of the Gaza conflict. An immediate and lasting ceasefire in Gaza will help cool down the situation in Yemen and the Red Sea. We call on the relevant countries to make efforts to this end sincerely and responsibly. China stands ready to continue to work with the Council and international community to promote an immediate and lasting ceasefire in Gaza, search for a political solution to the Yemen issue, and work together for peace and stability in the Middle East. Thank you, President.
I thank the representative of China for their statement. I now give the floor to the representative of the Russian Federation.
Mr. President, the Russian Federation abstained on the Japanese and U.S. draft resolution of the Security Council on the situation in the Red Sea. The technical nature of the text does not change the fact that this text is a logical continuation of Security Council Resolution 2722, with respect to which we had serious questions. And if the idea itself of the document is to ensure safety of navigation in the waters adjacent to Yemen, including the Red Sea, on the whole, we support this. However, the practical implementation thereof leaves a lot to be desired. The hastily drawn-up draft had a number of serious flaws in terms of international law, and it included a number of provisions which some Western countries subsequently attempted to interpret in their own way in the justification of attacks on Yemen. In this connection, I wish to stress yet again that Security Council Resolution 2722 cannot legitimize either the aggressive actions of the U.S. so-called coalition and that of their satellites in the Red Sea, or their missile strikes and bombardment targeting the territories of sovereign countries. We urge all participants in the coalition to immediately halt illegal attacks and to transition to political and diplomatic means to reduce tensions in the waters adjacent to Yemen. We wish to recall that normalization in the Red Sea is impossible without stabilization in the Palestinian-Israeli conflict zone. We call on the international community. The demands of the international community remain unchanged. That is, an immediate, unconditional, permanent ceasefire, and the release of all hostages and detainees, as well as the restoration of full-fledged, unfettered humanitarian access to the Gaza Strip. Without reflection of this, the resolution remains divorced from reality, to put it mildly. Thank you for your attention.
I thank the representative of the Russian Federation for their statement. I now give the floor to the representative of Algeria.
Thank you, President. We abstained in the adoption of this resolution. And our vote today is consistent with our vote in last January on Resolution 2722. My delegation position to abstain should not be interpreted as a reservation toward the Secretary General's monthly reporting on any attacks on merchant and commercial vessels in the Red Sea. We continue to value the importance of such reporting in keeping the Council informed. Rather, our abstention reflects our concern about the implementation of Resolution 2722 and what we believe a misuse and misinterpretation of the right to defend by conducting attacks on territories of sovereign countries. We believe it is crucial to uphold international law and ensure that actions taken in the name of navigational rights and freedoms do not infringe upon the sovereignty of country and states. Moreover, we stress the absolute necessity of fully addressing the root causes of the current tensions in the Red Sea and in the whole region. We cannot ignore the clear link between the devastating situation in Gaza and the escalation of hostilities in the Red Sea. And today again, we cannot stress enough the urgent need for an immediate and permanent ceasefire in Gaza. In conclusion, Mr. President, we urge maximum restraint and prioritize diplomacy to prevent violence and ensure regional stability. A Yemeni-led and a Yemeni-owned peace process based on agreed political settlement references is essential for lasting regional peace. I thank you.
I thank the representative of Algeria for their statement. I now give the floor to the representative of Sierra Leone.
Mr. President, Sierra Leone wishes to thank the United States and Japan for their efforts in extending the reporting mandate of the Secretary General on the Houthi attacks on merchants and commercial vessels in the Red Sea, in line with paragraph 10 of the Resolution 2722. We are gravely concerned about the continued disruption of maritime activities and global trade by these attacks, and additional costs shippers have to incur to reroute their vessels. We strongly believe that the root causes of these attacks have to be urgently addressed. However, we underscore the merits for the Council to be credibly informed of these attacks for our continued engagement on the file. For these reasons, we have voted in favor of this resolution. I thank you.
I thank the representative of Sierra Leone for their statement. I now give the floor to the representative of Guyana.
Thanks the co-pen holders for their efforts in preparing the draft resolution and for the efforts made to engage Council members. Guyana voted in favour of the resolution, renewing the reporting mandate established under Resolution 2722, since we support the desire to maintain accurate and objective reporting on the situation in the Red Sea, as attacks are still being carried out on commercial and merchant vessels. We take this opportunity to thank the Secretariat for the timely updates. Guyana maintains that this Council has the responsibility to respond to threats to international peace and security, and must pronounce itself in the face of violations of international law. We once again call upon the Houthis to immediately release the MV Galaxy leader and crew and to cease all attacks against commercial and merchant vessels in the Red Sea. At the same time, we continue to emphasize the need for this Council and the international community to address the root causes of the increased regional tensions, including the conflict in Gaza. In this regard, we reiterate our call for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza and for the parties to the conflict to fully comply with their obligations under international law and relevant UN Security Council resolutions. I thank you.
I thank the representative of Guyana for their statement. There are no more names inscribed on the list of speakers. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
The 9,673rd meeting of the Security Council is called to order. The provisional agenda for this meeting is the situation in Central African Republic. The agenda is adopted. In accordance with the Rule 37 of the Council's Provisional Rules of Procedure, I invite the representative of Central African Republic to participate in this meeting. It is so decided. On behalf of the Council, I welcome Her Excellency Ms. Sylvie Valerie Baipo-Temon, Minister for Foreign Affairs and Francophonie and Central Africans abroad of the Central African Republic. In accordance with the Rule 39 of the Council's Provisional Rules of Procedure, I invite Ms. Valentine Rogawavija, Special Representative of the Secretary General and Head of the United Nations Multidimensional Integrated Stabilization Mission in Central African Republic, to participate in this meeting. It is so decided. The Security Council will now begin its consideration of item 2 of the agenda. I wish to draw the attention of Council members to document S/2024/473, the report of the Secretary General on the Central African Republic. I now give the floor to Ms. Valentine Rogawavija.
Distinguished members of the Council, Madam Minister of Foreign Affairs, Francophonie and Central Africans abroad of the Central African Republic, Mr. President, I would like to congratulate South Korea in assuming the presidency of the Council for the month of June, and I take this opportunity to thank you for chairing this session. I'm indeed honored to present the most recent report of the Secretary General on the Central African Republic. I will first underscore some achievements of the mission in delivering its mandate in support of the implementation of the political agreement for peace and reconciliation in Central Africa. I will then elaborate on the extension of MINUSCA's footprint to additional localities in Ombumu Prefecture in the southeast of Central Africa, paving the way for extension and restoration of civilian and security state authority in this region. Last, I will also share with the Council some of the operational challenges faced by the mission during this reporting period. Distinguished members of the Council, on 17th April, Central African National Border Management Commission held its inaugural plenary session and is since actively implementing its 10-year action plan under the leadership